Well, folks, as always, I love talking about things going on when it comes to the youth in our community. And I have, for as long as I can remember here on KMAS, talked with the Shelton NJROTC. It's been about 20 years, and they have done some great things over that time in our community. The numbers are huge. It's one of the largest groups on the high school campus in participation, and you see them all over the place. They have a certain air about them. I want to bring in Lieutenant Colonel Brian Harwell. Also, we're going to be talking with Cadet Lieutenant Kenan Moore. Brian, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having us on, Jeff.
Man, NJROTC, every time I talk about the NJROTC or every time I talk with folks in our community, it always comes across how professional, how polished, and how community minded, community spirited the kids in the organization are. And this is years and years. This goes on and on. Talk to me a little bit about the program at the high school and the numbers and all the good stuff.
Well, actually, thanks for rounding that off with some good positive feedback. Always good to hear that that is the name that the JRTC holds in the community. To just describe a little bit about the program, I like to start off by saying it is not a military program. Yes, we are funded in part by the United States Navy, as all JRTCs are with their respective services. But this is in no way affiliated with recruiting for the U.S. Navy or any other sort of armed forces service. This is 100% building leadership within communities. And in our case, that's why you see us out and about doing things like the community parades, the assistance at Oysterfest, the car show, which we'll be talking about here shortly, the Haunted Trails program. We're even involved in the new Vets Village that has popped up in the last year or so that provides food and shelter for our local veterans. So it's really leadership and servant leadership within the community. That's what the program is all about.
It's very cool. And in addition to the leadership roles that you have in the community, NJROTC in Shelton High School does pretty well for itself when it goes across and competes against other groups with some big time accolades coming your way. Let's go over some of those too.
Well, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our cadet commanding officer, Cadet Lieutenant Moore, to talk more about some of our extracurriculars, such as drill team.
Yeah, let's do it.
So every morning we host drill practices for our teams. Those big teams consist of the unarmed drill team, which is just basic unarmed drill, and then armed drill team, which is basic unarmed drill with rifles. And we do a lot of cool stuff with those. And when we compete, it's a lot of fun. Along with that, we also do color guard competitions. It's basically it's a 4-man squad or element, and you 2 are flag bearers and 2 are riflemen, and you just march around and present the colors. This year we did really good this year. Unarmed I'm not really sure how good they did this year. I don't recall the scores and stuff like that, but my team, we went to regionals, and we placed 4th there. And then a couple of our duels teams also went to regionals, and they placed pretty good too.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Also, I'll just add, to give you the context for it, when he says place 4th, that's 4th out of 28 schools competing. So
right, because it's not just like the Black Hills district or something like this. You guys are in a region, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That's
basically
awesome.
all of Western Washington.
Man.
And some Portland schools as well.
So we talked about opportunities when folks see them out in the community. Additionally, you do the colors at the football games. You mentioned the Oysterfest, where I think, tens of thousands of people that weekend see you guys out there navigating traffic. this week, or not this weekend, but coming up as the weekend of Forest Festival is the Shelton Car Show Off. And this is another one. This is kind of why we're talking today. But this is another big event that is part of that great Forest Festival weekend. So what are the details?
Well, it's a real highlight for our program. As already mentioned a little bit before, we kind of bookend the school year with two big bangs. We light off the year with Oysterfest in October, and we close the year down, the school year that is, close it down with parking cars at the Shelton Car Show Off. So the car show off is going on the 2nd of June. And it's held out on the western side of kind of the newer part of Shelton, the Olympic Highway North area, over there by Olympic Mall. And it's between C and K Streets. Registration is from 8 to 11 a.m. And that takes place on F Street. And then the judging begins at 11. So basically, after the last registered entrant is taken down, judging starts across a wide range of areas by vintage of car, by genre of car, by maker of car. There's all sorts of judging events that go into it.
These car shows are so much fun. They're so weather dependent, which is why we always are looking for a great weekend weather forecast for Forest Festival. But I have been to these car shows over the years, and hundreds of cars, thousands of people are walking up and down Olympic Highway North. It is spectacular to see. Does the NJROTC get a judge? I mean, is there an award from you guys? Coolest car picked out by Cadet Lieutenant or anything like that?
I believe last year we had NJROTC gets to put a vote in, and that's a big portion of cadets go to that. So I'm sure a lot of votes go towards it. But yeah, the cadets all get to come together and then pick a car that we want to vote for, and we put that vote in for that car.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
To be clear, across the board, it is not judged by the cadets. The cadet main emphasis with this particular event is the parking of the cars. That's the real kind of community service that they provide, getting all of those beautiful cars in there and parked safely and without denting and scratching anything. The Cadet's Choice Award is one of many judged categories that the cadets and only the cadets vote on.
That's a cool one. I think those types of specialty awards, Cadet's Choice, Mayor's Choice, whatever, those types of things, the winners of those ones they're like, oh man, the cadets chose my vehicle as the winner. That's pretty cool. Kenan, tell me about yourself. What grade are you in?
I'm a junior at Shelton High School.
Okay. And why had you always had an interest in NJROTC, or how did you get involved with it? Tell me about your story.
I've always wanted to be in the military ever since I was a little kid. And then when I came to the high school, I saw that they had a JROTC program. I didn't really know what it was about, but I just knew it was military related.
Yeah.
And so I just gave it a try. And then it ended up 3 years later, I'm the commanding officer. So
still here going strong. What would you encourage parents listening and 7th and 8th graders moving up into the high school eventually to think about continuing into this program?
They should definitely give it a shot and experience, or try to experience all the possibilities that NJROTC offers. Especially in our program, there's a lot of possibilities that they could try out, like the drill teams and extracurriculars that we offer, just to keep their mind open about the program.
Yeah. Well, once again, all the students that I've talked to over the years are always leaders in the community. They're high achieving students in the high school and in the district. So it's always great to talk with them, and kind of helps me, fall asleep at night knowing the future is going to be in good hands eventually here. A great program at the high school. Check it out. The car show is the Sunday of Forest Festival weekend, June 2nd on Olympic Highway North between C and K. You're not going to miss it because that's up and down the whole street. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Brian, good to talk with you. I can't believe we're just now having these conversations on the air. I'm going to have to get you in a little bit more often, I think.
Absolutely.
And Kenan, it was really nice to meet you and talk with you as well. Great opportunities for the Shelton to show off at the car show off June 2nd. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated.